Hello guys, what's up and welcome to the new tutorial from the SketchUpArchStudio. In this tutorial, I'm going to show how we can work with Enscape 3.5.6, latest version of Enscape before Enscape 4.0. So in this case, I'm going to render this balcony for my job and it's the interior rendering. So I'm going to start my job with pressing F on my keyboard and I want to create some new view for myself. First of all, I need to unlink all the visual settings, and after that I need to rename my camera to the camera number 1. If you like this special rendering, you can add it to your favorite renders and you can set out your XYZ position as your coordinate. So I prefer to use 5.5, 1.6 as the I height and the negative 1.6 as the Z option. About the pitch and yaw option, I need to turn the pitch to the 0 because I need some super straight camera shot. And if I go a little bit to the right side, I can make better viewpoints. So I need to change the Z option in here to the negative 1.8 and the yaw is about 90 and azimuth and altitude related to the sun. So I don't need to save the sun position in Enscape and I'm going to click on the create option. My first camera created for me and now time for the rendering. So I'm going to start my job with changing the resolution. So I'm going to click on the visual setting, go to the output, change the resolution to the custom, and now you can customize your render to some number like this, and it's the 101 aspect ratio rendering. If I turn on the save frame, I can see this resolution for my job. Don't worry about the zooming and focusing, all of them will be solved. So I'm going to click on the visual setting again and I'm going to move it in here. Click on the Enscape. I want to start my job with holding shift and right click and change the time of the day to something near to the morning, for example 7:30 or some number like that, but I can't see the sun brightness in my environment. So I need to hold Ctrl and press U on my keyboard or I on my keyboard. It completely depends on you. And now we have some type of lighting like this. I want to set these type of shadows for my job because I think it's really attractive and adorable. So I need to start my job with field of view. Look at the screen in here. I opened the visual setting and now if I reduce the field of view, I can focus on my target very well. So some number about 46-degree horizontal is really wonderful for my job. If I move the visual setting in here, I can see the corners, edges, and all the data about my rendering. So I want to add a little bit outline. For example, maybe 6% is enough. And I need to turn off the auto exposure. You can see the changes. So if I turn it and check it out to the auto exposure and play with the auto exposure in some number about 54, I can create these type of renders and I think it's really good. So after all of these jobs in here, time for adding some type of rendering quality for our job. And I think it's a very simple and easy work for us. So I'm going to turn on the depth of field in here, turn off the autofocus, and I want to play with the focal point. You can see some shiny line in the Enscape real-time rendering. I want to focus on these vase, flowers, and tables, so I can move it to some place like that. 4.86 is enough and depth of field is about maybe 12 and it's really good right now. About the outside HDRI, I can see some empty horizon. So if I go to the skybox and change the white ground to the white cubes, I can fix this problem. So don't worry about the HDRI and your artificial environment because it's not really important. I will come back to the main bar in here, check all the details, everything is good. If I change the rendering quality to the ultra, I can see better reflections for my job. In the image bar, I want to use auto contrast and I can increase the saturation if I need some warm render, but I don't suggest it because 100% is really normal for your pictures. So if you want warm rendering, you can decrease it, for example, 6000 Kelvin Motion blur is about 0. Bloom option is about 0. And lens flare is not really effective in these type of renders because I want to talk about it in the next few sessions and tutorials. But now I can change it to the 34%. Vignette is about maybe 26 and chromatic aberration is 0. In the atmosphere, I will turn off the fog option. Sun brightness can be decreased to the 66. Night sky is not really useful, but shadow sharpness. Look at these places in here. If I increase the shadow sharpness as I can, you can see what's really happening in your render, and it's not really realistic because in the real world we don't have these type of shadows. So 26% is enough. And artificial light brightness not really useful. Ambient brightness related to your interior renders, but in this balcony render, if you look at in these edges which near to the floor, you can see some changes if I turn it to the 0 or if I turn it to the 100, and it's related to hyper lighting environment. So 56% is enough. Wind option is 0. The sky is about 44, 56. 46 and 11. So everything is done for us, and now time for the rendering. But before I finish up my rendering, I'm going to minimize the Enscape at the right side and SketchUp in the left side. Turn on the Enscape material library. I start with these frame. It's related to my window, not really pushing here. But plaster is one of the important materials. Look at these walls in here. I'm gonna start my job with the height map. We have three type of height maps: normal, bump, and displace. I prefer to use normal map, and it's completely suitable for this case. 188 is enough, and I'm gonna press save. After rendering, you can see the details very well. If I click on the texture and use the rotation, I can see better views in this place. Metallica is about 6, and I think the specular not really important in here. Glass is not really important, but wood basket. Look at these floor in here. First of all, I need to desaturate this texture a little bit, so I'm going to reduce the image fade, something like that, about 74. Height map is about 88, and roughness is about 4. So now I have better reflections. If I turn the roughness to the 0, it completely works as a mirror. So if you increase the Metallica, you convert it to some type of reflective surface. 56% is enough. And final texture is about these repeatable woods in here. I need to click on the texture and add some rotation for it. Now I can see better effect of it in my rendering. After that, I can increase the normal map as I can. Roughness is about maybe 16%, and the specular is about 56. Everything is done. If you click on these options in your SketchUp, which name is General Setting, and if you turn on the NVIDIA Global Denoiser, it will help you to create some super realistic renders without any denoise. Or noise, I'm sorry. So it's completely optional, and it depends on your graphic card power. Right now I don't want to turn it up, and I want to use it on the default mode. So I'm going to click on the screenshot, and I want to save it on my desktop with this name, and I'm going to press save. It takes a little bit time, and after that Enscape will generate some super realistic render for you. It's really suitable for architectures, urban designers, and people who work in 3D visualizing software's world, and it's really work fantastic. So if I open this Enscape rendering here, you can see the final detail, and it's related to the plasters, texture, normal map, and some other options. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, guys. Thanks for your time, thanks for watching. SketchUpArchStudio, and goodbye.